Fellow tennis nerds, I'm here with Miguel. You've seen him before in a video we did, shot it at this beautiful academy here in Hofsas, near the German school up in La Mairena in Marbella. You can play above the clouds if you're on a right day. We're playing just with a beautiful view here on these green clay courts. Today we're going to talk about the serve, and Miguel is going to talk about a few things that he always thinks about, but also a few different points of view on the serve, different styles, because there's really not only one serve. It's really up to you to find your serve. That's really the takeaway in the end, but we'll look at like the fundamentals a bit and also different perspectives on the serve.
There's not a right or the perfect serve. I always say the perfect serve is the one that goes in when you most need it. You need to find your way, your path, thinking about a few details or basics or principles, that if you do that, you're on the right way.
I think it's important because a lot of players that I talk to, they struggle with the consistency. Like the second serve, like they feel like if they lose the first serve, then they start making double faults, the second serve goes. So it's like consistency is very important, which you pointed out. Like,
but it's a great tool to warm up the
shoulder.
Serve. You can do this move for the rotator cuff. You can do bigger rounds, forward, backwards, and then also throw each other, do the whole serve motion like with the racket, but this weighs 1 kilo, so it's like 3 times an average racket. Also do it for drills, for forehand, backhand, like doing this.
Yeah, it's quite nice because you do have some weight. It's more than a racket, so
exactly.
That's what you were talking about.
Pretty good for the backhand. With kids, I use it so they get specific strength. A few meters, not so wide in the beginning, slowly. Yeah, bend back and then accelerate with the rotator cuff. And keep the balance, feel the nice motion. Not forcing the shoulder, because you can also get injured if you do it too quick, too strong. You can injure your shoulder. And just warm up 10, 20 throws, and you will see when you get back to the racket, it feels like a pencil. So let's start with phase number 1. It's the foot stance. There are also 3 variations. I use the open stance, like Federer or like Djokovic, Sampras use, but there are, like I said, three options. 1, open stance and serve immediately. You jump more with your left leg, okay? The impulse is maybe 60-40 on the left leg. Second option would be a hybrid, to start open, then close your feet and then jump forward. There would be more 50-50, and that's very used. Now there are many players. I think most of the players nowadays use this stance, and some players use also the pinpoint, like Monfils used to use a few years ago, where you stand already in the pinpoint position. Okay, so you also jump more or less 50-50 with both legs. There's no right and wrong, just find you out, try out every technique. I started with one, then changed to another, and it was maybe a crazy phase, but in the end I found my style of foot stance, which I use nowadays, and I'm pretty comfortable with it.
So sometimes I feel like I get more control with just the platform, or you call it the open stance. But sometimes I feel like I get more punch into the court, like on the ball, with when you put your pinpoints together, right, like this. I never tried this because it feels a bit strange.
I think it's the most complicated one also.
Yeah.
Because the hip should also go forward, like lean forward just before the jump.
It's important to have the hip
goes here, and then you just throw all your body weight. Okay, it's 70% up and 30%
forward.
Yeah. More or less. Okay, of course you can do a second serve more vertical and less forward. It depends where you land. You can land like half a meter in the court, like Del Potro. His contact was almost 1 meter in the court. And a second serve could be even just above your head. So it's not a fixed coordinate, but depends. For the first serve more in front, obviously, and the second serve maybe a bit more over the head. Toss is 50% of the serve. Let's say. Because
and you should really practice your toss. So that's what I
exactly. we do it with the small kids. Sometimes just throw it up, toss it up, and try to land it in a specific circle or like a square.
Yeah.
5 times in a row, 10 times in a row.
With it-
Straight arm.
Yeah.
Have the ball loose in your hand. Don't close it up.
And don't spin it, right? You should just be dead.
Try to let the ball spin as least as possible, so you can more or less see the brand. Still on it.
Yeah. That's a good way to do it. Yeah, so you want to see the logo.
You can read the brand is it's not moving too much. And yeah, the toss, obviously, forward right for the right-handers, and left forward for the left-handers. Talk in numbers and coordinates a bit, depends on the person, they like it or not. You can use like this coordinates in front of your feet, and for example for the first serve I go 1 right and 2 points forward, so it's a really aggressive serve.
Okay.
My contact point is really in the court, and I need to jump as far as I can into the court. So I get all my body weight, which is the most powerful muscle, let's say. It's heavier than one arm 10 times or 8 times. So that's where the power comes from the legs. So it's also good to train some jumps. And for the second serve, I have different tosses. For the top spin, I need the ball more over my head, so it's just maybe 1 in front and quite centered. And sometimes I also even try to hit behind me, left behind me, but it's not the optimal. Because you lose a bit the balance, and it's more hard. It's harder to
execute also with this brush.
Exactly. You need the body going forward, so a bit over the head, and the swing is more like open. Outside, and the first is really flat, going through the ball.
Maximum momentum of the body towards the court.
And the slice serve is again more to the right side, for right-handers, of course. So I would go 2 points right and just 1 in front, instead of 2 forward and 1 right.
So you use this when you play, actually. You think about these coordinates.
Especially on the deuce side, if I look for a slice wide open, I really throw the ball quite to the right side. So I have that extra slice. And for the kick, I go more over my head. Flat is where I really jump into. And I can serve and volley better, like in front of my foot. Here's this line, coordinate 0, 1 and 2. 1 and 2. So from here, first serve, flat, would be really frontal, but always a bit to the right to make my life easier for the right shoulder. Second serve, we have 2 options. Kick, more in this area, like 0 to +1, and pretty...
a little bit further back, so you can brush the ball.
You need more vertical spin. And the slice, like the wide open, would be quite between 1 and 2 sideways and 1 point forward. So I can really slice it sideways.
We talked about the stance, and you ended up using
toss,
the open and the toss.
Now,
what else do you
come
think about?
The trophy position. There we come to the last part of the acceleration, about the shoulders and where we put our hands, the elbow, our hip. Okay, that's a pretty complex phase, because there are many things happen at the same time, right? So balance, the weight is more on the back foot in that moment. So I'm really charging my weight and my racket on the right side. My left hand is quite straight up, maybe even a bit back if you want more spin.
Commercial break. Thanks to the sponsor of this YouTube channel for quite a few episodes now, the Singles Playbook, Fuzzy Yellow Balls. Great way to learn how to beat pushers, aggressive baseliners, serve and volleyers, whatever. You get videos inside, and you have all these really good topics and ideas that you can work into your game. So it looks a bit like this. I'm doing it with one hand. So very good tool. I actually bought it a year ago, and I only partner with products I believe in. So this one has helped me understand more about tennis tactics and strategy. I think it can do so for you. So check it out. The link is in the description.
If you need more spin, just think about putting the left hand a bit more back, so the right shoulder gets lower and the elbow gets a bit lower. That makes you have a bit more vertical acceleration. That's my feel. Some people like to have this position, like TFO, but he's a really explosive guy, so he can afford it. But normally I see that the elbow goes a bit more down and the shoulders make like this position. Left shoulder up, right down, and then you really switch. You really go up, the racket gets behind the back, and then full stretch. That's really important. Together with the jump, the hip goes just before the contact. We just move the hip forward and then rotate. That's the beginning of the serve actually. The hip, then the shoulder goes up, and then the pronation. Tricep extension and hand wrist pronation. So you see it's like in less than half a second we have 4 rotations in our body. And that excels the rackets.
And that is the complicated part as well, that there's so many things going on, like for a rec player to keep track of. Like, but then the difficult part is like, you should obviously have your weight transfer
from back to forward.
From back, so you can get it
then
forward.
Just rotate and jump.
Yeah.
So it's like a throw actually. Every throwing training you can use a baseball ball or these Pilates balls.
Yeah,
it's like sand.
How far should you go? I mean, you had McEnroe, like we talked about that. Like McEnroe was almost doing this and rotating in like this.
Okay.
But then Medvedev, it looks like he's almost like just
frontal.
Tossing it up and bop.
Yeah, but he's so thin and flexible.
Yeah.
He can afford also to do like boof. Like this,
and tall,
this
so he
whip.
also gets the whippiness
He
there.
has a really high contact, that's why. But if you do it like with a guy like Schwartzman, he wouldn't get a first serve in.
No.
Because his high contact is not the Medvedev highest contact.
No, exactly, of course.
Or
He needs...
Isner or Pelka, come on, they shoot from 3.5 meters or something like that.
yeah, exactly. They get a complete benefit.
You can have a straight line and it would be like 1 meter in. So it's a different...
So if you're a shorter guy like me, for example, you would have to use your legs a little bit more.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Good leg impulse. And I also say calves and triceps simultaneously.
Yeah.
Okay, that's the full extension. But if you think on the lowest muscle and let's say the highest big muscle, okay, and not the wrist, but if you combine that and that in one moment, you already have a much better extension movement. So concentrate on the arm extension and the leg extension. If you combine that, you
to make
have
sure you
much
get that
more vertical power.
Yeah, the explosiveness. Would you have any advice on like, should it be more towards here? More, this is more frontal?
Yeah, well,
more to the
that's
side.
I think a good medium solution is having a good rotation, side and vertical rotation. Not exaggerating like Connors and not exaggerating like Medvedev. I'm for the golden middle, like foot 45 degrees, maybe a bit more if you need more rotation, but 45 to 30 degrees or whatever. And this maybe parallel or also parallel to my feet. Try it out and you'll see what fits better to you. But a bit more rotation for the beginning and then you can always come back to a medium rotation. But completely frontal, I think it's not very easy to get the first serve in. Yeah, and the jump in is also how much should I jump in or up?
Yeah.
As I said before, 70% goes up and 30% goes forward. More or less. Okay, you can vary 20% up and down, of course. But yeah, for the first serve, I try to jump over my own foot length. So again, I use my foot as one point, and I just jump boom over it and try to land with balance on my left foot. That's also a nice exercise to have a oriented jump plus controlled landing. Balance in tennis is as important as timing, so you can use that. Or even, as a good friend of mine, Marius, here coach also, showed me this trick to jump with the right foot and jump on the left foot. It's a bit of a controversial technique, but I think everything that helps you having more explosiveness with balance and orientated energy towards the service box. Hand wrist is also the artist, let's say. It's the brush. So you can also, like good servers, they hide. They do all the same, but in the end they do this or that, and it changes completely the position.
Yeah.
So that's the artist basis of a house, and the cherry of the pie.
Cherry on the top,
Yeah, it's the hand wrist. Yeah, try to pronate a bit more, like a karate. That's also a nice point, which I learned from my first coach, Alberto Gutierrez. He was 200 something. ATP,
okay, a good player. Yeah.
When I was 8, and he told me, like, imagine a karate fist, okay? Like you rotate like this forwards just before the contact, and that's the same with the racket. It goes straight, and then in the end, poof. And that acceleration, together with all the pieces we talked about, hip, shoulder, triceps, hand wrist, all that together explodes.
No, that's where all the power comes from. That's why I have the difference of a good serve and a weak serve can be so big, because there's so many parts you're adding to the equation.
If the kinetic chain gets interrupted somewhere, you lose the power. It's welcome. From the advantage side, I like to position myself really wide, so I can attack the wide open. If I really have a good kick or even a good flat, here I position my feet completely parallel to the line.
Yeah.
So I'm a bit more sideways, actually. Not like McEnroe, but the jump is more or less the same. The jump is more or less the same. To jump forward, not too high, just high enough to have a full extension.
Yeah.
We see Kyrgios example, he's 193, he doesn't throw the ball like Del Potro.
No.
Yeah, it's easier when the wind conditions are difficult. So if the wind is hard, just toss it just enough, just high enough.
Because you have guys like Del Bonis, for example, he tosses it higher than the Eiffel Tower, you know.
Exactly.
And then you're like...
He waits, he can go and drink some water, come back, and then serve.
Yeah, exactly. It's a good serve.
Okay. Loosen up. Yeah.
Good serve.
For example, that's.
Do you do any counting? Like, do you do like 1, 2, like just get rhythm on the serve? Do you do that? Or?
Once I use my RPM clock watch to see in what range am I. Okay, that was pretty interesting, because if I was too accelerated, I waited a bit, you know, until my heart rate was
down a bit,
lower than 150, but
not
too low, not lower than 120. So my green range was 125 to 45, let's say.
Interesting, yeah.
If I was too relaxed, I didn't have the intensity, and if I was too accelerated, I was too.
One important tip, I think, if you're playing a match, and is that you need to calm yourself down, because if you're stressed, you're gonna stress and the service motion is important. Like, it needs good rhythm, good timing, and if you're stressed in a match, take the time. Like, I mean, you don't have to be rough and the clock is going over, but you just take your time, relax, have maybe some routines, count the strings, whatever you do. So you're focused for the serve, because a lot of players, they just go like, shit, I lost that point, and then they go and they stress the serve, and that's easily a double fault, you know.
Sometimes I count the bounces. You can play around with what's your lucky number, 7, but it's helpful, even if it's subconscious, or just I also use my breathing rhythm to see, okay, this is still too fast breathing, so just keep bouncing without counting until my breath feels good, so I can really breathe in and use the air to also accelerate a bit more confident. Well, slow down and put like 98% of the serves in.
Yeah, so you mean let's say you're playing points with only one serve.
Only one serve.
Yeah.
Play one set with your bodies, only one serve. Let's see how many double faults you do. Doesn't
That's
have
good
to
margins.
be fast. It's
no.
slow but high kicking serve. So they have to go for the ball.
Yeah.
And if you do that in the first serve, they get also a bit confused.
Exactly.
They're
Yeah, you can bury
expecting
it.
a hard ball, and then suddenly it's slow and up. From here, it's not. Also not that easy because
The math is against you a little bit. Yeah.
exactly, it's not so. Here, okay. And if you don't get the corner, it's easy to return with a good forehand. So it's a dangerous serve. But if you can surprise with a good kick as a first serve, it's a good
Yeah,
way
that's
to
nice.
go.
Surprise is a very important part of serving, right? This is the element where you are actually in charge, so you can do something.
Exactly. If you only do wide open, wide open, wide open. The third shot, he's going with the forehand. Okay, I'm going to start with the slice. I think it's the easiest one. And it's a very tricky serve to return, actually. Some of my coach buddies call it the stupid serve because it looks easy, but it comes into your body. And, to the right. And now let's try a kick to the tee. This is a safe second serve, looking for the high bounce on the backhand.
Yeah.
But you shouldn't do it like 100% of the time because people get used to it.
Yeah, and they know what's
and
coming.
They open the forehand side. So combine maybe 3 on the backhand, 1 surprise slice on the forehand.
Yeah.
Even as a first serve, it's a good surprise sometimes. Maybe if you're pretty confident, you go for the first serve and throw the ball really forward. And maybe you're lucky and you get the line, and maybe not, and you go with the second serve. 30 all, 40 all. Just try to get the first in, for God's sakes.
So what would you recommend? Maybe to reduce a little bit on the first, or should they just...
Sure.
Yeah.
Don't play with your ego. When it's 30 all or 15-40 and you want to just boom the ball and do the ace, it's better to have a good kick, serve as a first, and then just play the point, because the opponent also has easier blocking return with a flat serve than with a high bouncing. The tactics is very important, and to choose the right moment to give maybe a good kick on the forehand, 30 all, and he gets surprised. He was expecting the flat bomb on the backhand, and now he has to change. That's quite a flat one. Let's try slice. Many ways you can do 10 serves the same, or just try, imagine the point, 1 flat down the tee, or flat wide.
And to practice with a target, like, I mean, with serves you can actually go with a bucket of balls and actually do a proper practice yourself, you know. It's good serve.
Yeah, invent your own serving games so it doesn't get so boring and monotone. 1 wide, 1 tee. And 1 flat.
That's very good.
That was some more vertical contact.
Yeah.
Like stretch the triceps and the calves.
So more,
Concentrate
more
on that.
in, like, like that
Nice.
kind of more.
Good serve. Yeah. Good.
Bit lower.
With that power, I think you need to hit the ball more forward. Just here, for a second serve is good, or slice, but with your power now, you can hit it in this square.
Yeah,
you know, plus
a little
2
bit
forward.
Yeah.
So it goes down earlier. Because now you have more power, so the angle has to be different. More forward. Just
More forward,
10
yeah.
centimeters forward. And just jump in. But with the...
That's better.
Perfect. And the more power, the more forward you need to...
That's true. Like that.
Perfect, that's the one. So many pieces in motion, you cannot change 3 things in one moment.
Clean?
Don't forget to pull the arm, the left arm.
Yeah, because
way straight. Because sometimes it stays here.
Yeah, and that's
you're thinking of loading the right arm, but you forget to do the
trophy 100%. Yeah.
Exactly. The trophy position is really straight. Loads up. Yes. putting your body weight into the ball. Yes, nice.
Yes, obviously I'm a shorter guy, so I need to really get the fundamentals right. I have a little bit less margin to work with, so need to use my legs more, which I'm sometimes lazy with. I need to get, you know, all the fundamentals working more towards my favor because I don't have that natural high contact point.
Okay, more to the front, +1 kick. So you can jump in and still
a bit more further up
from your foot toe, like +1. So more or less in this.
Yeah. That's actually good.
Good, but you lose power because it was a bit behind, so you cannot use your body weight.
No.
Okay, you neutralize that. Your body kick comes if the contact is more in front of you.
Yeah.
Let's say up here. So you jump in.
So I still get the jump.
With your left foot, 1 foot over.
Try that. So I want to get the body to move forwards.
Exactly. Because the legs add spin as well. Yes,
it's better.
Good.
Because I was getting more forwards. Yeah.
Perfect. It wasn't the fastest,
no,
but it was the highest kick of all.
Yeah.
That's the key, because the ball bounces over your head. Good. First, second serve, you need to practice.
The slice like this, just
the most simple way is for me the perfect way.
Thanks a lot, Miguel. I hope you enjoyed this session.
Yeah,
great coach,
too.
great guy in Hofsas Academy.